India doesn't yet want to open their market, stop buying Russian oil, right? And stop being a part of BRICS, right? They're the vowel between Russia and China. If that's who you want to be, go be it. But either support the dollar, support the United States of America, support your biggest client, who's the American consumer, or I guess you're going to pay a 50% tariff. And let's see how long this lasts.
This is my video update on this Saturday afternoon, September the 6th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And yesterday I started things off with the news out of the UK, with the Deputy Prime Minister, Stammer's number 2, Rayner, resigning. And today we have the news that the new number 2 for 008, Keir Starmer, is none other than David Lammy, the former foreign minister. He is now going to be the number 2, the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Lammy. What an interesting tree. So who has taken over for Lammy? One second. Yvette something. Yvette something. What's her name? Yvette Cooper takes over as UK's top diplomat. So things just got worse for the UK with Lammy as the Deputy Prime Minister. God help us. God help the UK, man. David Lammy, the number 2 of Great Britain. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So you know who's celebrating this this decision, this promotion of Lammy? You know who's celebrating. Zelensky, of course, because with Lammy as the Deputy Prime Minister and Keir Starmer as the Prime Minister, it ensures that more money will be flowing to Project Ukraine. Yep, Zelensky is happy. Hey, Podolyak, break out the champagne and the other stuff. We party like it's 1999. Podolyak, our friend Lammy, he now Prime Minister of Britain. Zelensky's partying, man. More money to Project Ukraine, no doubt about it, because Lammy, he is a big-time fan of Project Ukraine, almost as much as 008 Keir Starmer. So anyway, that's the update there. And let's talk a little bit about India. India has said that they will continue to purchase Russian oil. They will continue to do what is in India's best interests. How about that, huh? India is a sovereign state, and they said they will continue to purchase Russian oil because it's in their interest to purchase Russian oil. And this has upset the Trump administration. Actually, Trump's had some complimentary things to say about Modi. Yesterday, he said he gets along with Modi and he likes Modi, but he said that he just doesn't like what Modi is doing by purchasing that Russian oil. He doesn't like it. I don't like it. I like Modi. He's a good guy, but I don't like it when he purchases that Russian oil. Who it's really upset is Navarro, who posted on X that he's very angry with India, very upset at India's purchasing of Russian oil. And Lutnick, man. Now Lutnick is going on the media channels in the United States, and Lutnick, he is putting down the conditions for India. That is what Lutnick is doing. Lutnick, he said that India needs to ditch BRICS, ditch China and Russia, be done with BRICS. Support the USD. I think that's a dead end. And stop buying the Russian oil. Those are the three conditions, right? He said support the USD, support the United States, come on side with the US, get rid of BRICS, and stop buying the Russian oil. Those are the conditions for India. And then Lutnick, he said that in 1 to 2 months, India is going to come crawling back to Trump. They're going to, Modi's going to come to the White House, to the Oval Office, and he's going to be begging for a deal, man. Begging for a tariff deal, because right now the punishment for what India is doing is 50% tariffs. And Lutnick's argument is that India is not going to want to lose their number one customer, the number one customer, consumer market on planet Earth. And Lutnick said that Modi is going to make his way to the White House, and Trump's going to be sitting behind his nice desk, and Modi's going to be begging US President Trump for a tariff deal. And then Lutnick said it's up to Trump to decide what he wants to do. These people, man. These people. The stuff that they can imagine, huh? Modi flying to the United States and begging Trump for mercy. Please, Trump, mercy, mercy. That's what Lutnick thinks is going to happen in 1 to 2 months. So that was Lutnick. We have some rumors being reported that the Trump administration is thinking about blocking, 1 second. I think I've got this bookmarked. President Trump is considering a proposal to block US IT companies from outsourcing their work to Indian companies, a move that could wreck Indian IT sector and cost millions of jobs. So this has not been confirmed by the Trump White House. It has not been confirmed by anybody, really. This is just speculation for the time being, but possible. This might happen, right? I don't think the tech companies would be happy about that, but anyway, we'll see if this is a move that Trump makes in order to try and gain some leverage over Modi, so he can get Modi into the Oval Office and he can grant him mercy, according to Lutnick. This is the scenario that Lutnick and Navarro have worked into their heads, huh? Amazing. This is how they think they're going to gain leverage over India. This is how they think they're going to get leverage over BRICS, destroy BRICS, and at the same time get leverage over Russia when it comes to Project Ukraine. This is the elaborate plan that Trump's advisors have come up with. Focus on India. Bully India. That's what this is about. So let's move on and talk about Venezuela. I was thinking, should I go up or should I go down? What do you guys think? Let's go down. Let's go down. I could climb up, but forget about it. Forget about it. Much better downhill on a hot day like today. So Venezuela is it's looking like we're going to have some sort of military operation targeting Venezuela. According to CNN, the Trump White House, he is directing his Pentagon, which is now the Department of War. It's no longer the Defense Department. It is the Department of War. All of the social media accounts have been changed to reflect the Department of War name change. The title of Pete Hegseth, that has been changed now. He's the Secretary of War, I guess. Anyway, everything's been changed up, and now it is the Department of War. And it's in here. And according to CNN, Trump has directed his Department of War to start exploring options to go after Venezuela. Military operations and military options targeting Venezuela. That's where we are at. Huh. Interesting. We're pretty up high in Athens at the moment. Athens is a very hilly city. Has its ups and it has its downs. So there are also reports saying that Venezuela fighter jets, they flew over U.S. Warships in the region. And so this is what is prompting Trump, or angering the Trump administration, to look at possible military options targeting Venezuela. Keep in mind that the Venezuelan fighter jets are in the area of Venezuela, and it's the U.S. ships that have moved into Venezuela's area. But anyway, they're now upset that a couple of fighter jets passed over the U.S. Ships in the area. I believe we're talking about, 8 U.S. warships that are either close to Venezuela or making their way to the area. So that's what's going on there. Looks like the Department of War is going to start a war, right? Department of War. Looks like they're going to start a war. So much for the Nobel Peace Prize. But anyway, Zelensky, he met with Fico on the border, a border town between Slovakia and Ukraine. And Fico, I don't know why Fico wanted to meet with Zelensky. I think he was bringing Zelensky a message from his meetings in China, but he probably also, he definitely also wanted to talk about Ukraine's attack on the Druzhba pipeline. And perhaps Fico wanted to maybe talk some sense into the Green Goblin to accept Istanbul Plus June 2024 root causes before it's too late. So I imagine that's what Fico tried to do as he took part in this meeting. But Zelensky, he was hearing none of that. He wanted none of that talk from Fico. And Zelensky's message to Fico was that Ukraine will continue to go after the Druzhba pipeline, which is a very important pipeline, energy security for Hungary and for Slovakia. So a non-NATO, non-EU country will continue to attack the energy security of of 2 EU NATO member states. That was Zelensky's message to Fico. And then Zelensky, he said that he will not allow Slovakia to get Russian oil and gas. He said he's not going to allow it. Right? That's Zelensky. He's not going to allow it, and he'll continue to go after the Druzhba. And then he told Fico, you know what? If you want Russian oil and gas, you're going to get it from us. Yeah, that's what he told Fico. The Green Goblin. delivering ultimatums and demands and conditions to Fico, to Slovakia, a NATO EU member state, taking orders from a non-EU NATO member state, right? So the meeting did not go well. The meeting did not go well at all. Fico did say in his statements to the media that he believes the conflict in Ukraine will be resolved very soon. And he wants Slovakia to be prepared for the day after when the conflict in Ukraine is resolved. And he wants Slovakia to be in an advantageous position with regards to its energy security and also with regards to Russia. He wants Slovakia to get along with Russia because Fico understands that Russia is going to win this thing, and he believes that a resolution to Project Ukraine is coming sooner rather than later. So Zelensky also gave an interview to CBS News. I believe the journalist's name is Martha Radish, right? I think that's her name. Anyway, everything was set up so that Zelensky and this CBS journalist would be conducting this interview in a location with a lot of rubble and looks like a banged up car or truck or something like that behind Zelensky. So the PR team put everything in order for this interview, to dramatize this interview. Notice that Zelensky, he is not wearing green t-shirts anymore. It's been about a month since he's worn green. They've transitioned him over to black, right? He is now in black attire. I don't know what this means because the green attire meant that he was in military mode. So I don't know if is the black attire symbolizing, I don't know, government in exile mode or resistance mode or something like that. Loser mode. I don't know. I don't know what the black represents. But anyway, he is now wearing exclusively black clothes, black t-shirts for the Green Goblin. He's no longer the Green Goblin. I was just about to say black t-shirts for the Green Goblin, but he's no longer the Green Goblin anymore. We have to think of a new name for Zelensky, huh? Anyway, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. So anyway, he was asked by this journalist about the invitation from Putin to Moscow. And of course, Zelensky said, no way, I'm not going to be going to Moscow. That's ridiculous. But Zelensky said that Putin is welcome to visit Kiev. And he said Kiev with the Russian accent, right? That's how, because Russian is Zelensky's native language. He's fluent in Russian. He thinks in Russian, no doubt about it. It's his native language, Russian. And so he said Kiev with the Russian accent. But yeah, he said that Putin can come to Kiev. Putin, he come to Kiev if he wants. What do you think, Podolyak? Yeah, Mr. President. Because, Mr. President, the side that is losing and that is going to lose dictates terms. Yes, Podolyak, you see, Mr. Radish, the side that lose, they dictate the terms. Yeah, so Zelensky now has sent an invite to Putin to visit, to come to Kiev, so Putin and Russia can capitulate, right? By the way, the Kremlin, Peskov, he put out a statement yesterday, and he said that Putin's invitation, where he is guaranteeing Zelensky's safety, 100% guarantee of Zelensky's safety, Peskov said that this is not about Ukraine, Zelensky coming to Moscow to capitulate or to surrender or anything like that. He said it's a serious invitation from Putin for Zelensky to visit Moscow, not in order to capitulate or anything like that, but to talk. That's what Peskov said in a statement yesterday. So we have some more information on the Coalition of the Willing's security guarantee plan. That's right. NBC News is reporting, according to their sources, on the setup, the framework of the Coalition of the Willing Security Guarantee Plan. Here's how it goes. Here's what NBC is reporting. It will consist of 10,000 troops in Ukraine. It will have Ukrainian military. They will be strengthened. Then you're going to have a buffer zone with 10,000 troops in this buffer zone. And according to NBC, the troops will not be coming from NATO countries. They will be coming from non-NATO countries. And two names that have been thrown out there are Bangladesh and Saudi Arabia. Actually, the Wall Street Journal is reporting the same thing. The reassurance forces will number 10,000, according to the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal is saying that in putting this plan together, U.S. generals were also involved. This was mostly, the Wall Street Journal is saying this was mostly a European plan, but it got the input from U.S. generals. The current commitments would allow for deployment of over 10,000 troops to Ukraine, the Wall Street Journal said, adding that the plan received input from some U.S. generals, including the U.S. head of the NATO Allied Command Operations. And it's NBC News, so that's the Wall Street Journal. They're reporting on the 10,000 strong reassurance force. And it is the Wall Street, it is NBC News, which is talking about a buffer zone with Bangladeshi or Saudi troops. Now, it's not definite that it's going to be Bangladesh or Saudi Arabia. This is kind of something that they're throwing out there, non-NATO forces in the buffer. Let's go up this way. In this buffer zone. And we're getting other reports which say that what they want the United States' role to be is to monitor everything. I think NBC News is also reporting this. They want the U.S. to monitor. Oh, what a cool park. To monitor the buffer zone and to make sure these non-NATO reassurance forces are safe. That's going to be the U.S.'s role, using U.S. Satellites and drones and fighter jets. Yeah, right. Like Russia's going to go for that. Let's have a no-fly zone secured and policed by the United States. That's the plan, with Saudi Arabian forces, because Saudi Arabia is neutral, right? Yeah, they think they're going to trap Russia with the plan which says no NATO forces. We'll take non-NATO forces, but we'll take forces that are, of course, friendly to the West. Saudi Arabia has a good relationship with Russia as well, but still. With the U.S. In the air, monitoring everything, never going to happen, man. Never going to happen, but it does look like the European Union, they are sending representatives to the United States, as according to the Council Chief Costa. He is already dispatching a team to the United States so they can coordinate this plan with U.S. officials, and so they can also coordinate the sanctions that they want to place on Russia, right? They're trying to put pressure on the Trump White House to place secondary sanctions, not only sanctions on Russia, but they're really keen, the European Union, on placing secondary sanctions on Russia. And the European Union officials, they've actually come out with statements saying that if the U.S. Tells us it's okay and supports us in placing sanctions on Russia, secondary sanctions on Russia, then we're down with it. All we want is the United States is green light and and assurance that they've got our back, and then we're going to move forward with sanctions against Russia, secondary sanctions against Russia and Russia's friends. Amazing statements from Europe, huh? I knew it. I knew Europe would. Everyone knew it. that eventually Europe would fold and say, "Okay, we'll place secondary sanctions on Russia. We'll do it, and China and India. We'll go ahead and do it." Which is what Trump was telling Europe. That's what he told Europe in the phone call yesterday, right? You guys need to stop buying Russian oil, right? You've bought 1.3 or 1.4 billion dollars in Russian oil, and you guys need to stop it. And sure enough, Europe is saying, okay, we'll do it. But Europe is now going to go to Trump. The EU is going to go to Trump, and they're going to say, you see, we're down with it. We're down with cutting off Russian oil and gas. So you now got to provide the security and the backstop for our Ukraine plan. Anyway, on the front lines, quite a crazy plan, huh? When you think that is 10,000 troops, just does not sound like a lot of troops, does it? Not at all. 10,000 does not sound like a reassurance force, if you ask me. By the way, Medvedev was asked about all of this security guarantee talks, and he actually put out a video and posted it on Telegram and on X. And Medvedev used the words BS. He said, this is all BS, all of this security guarantee talk. He said, it's not going to happen. Russia's not going to let it happen. Europe can't make it happen. And he said, it is all a bunch of BS, a load of bullocks. But he actually used the words BS. He actually said, it's like they say in English, it's BS. That's what Medvedev said. All of this security guarantee talk, back and forth, coalition of the willing, security guarantee stuff. They do all of this without talking to Russia, without consulting with Russia, without listening to Russia. Because Russia's been saying this for 3 years now. We're not going to allow any troops, especially NATO troops, but they are not going to be stepping one foot in Ukraine. Of course, Putin said the other day that if there is a deal, if there's a negotiated peace and a resolution to conflict Ukraine, he said that there's going to be no need for troops because there will be a deal. There will be a peace. There will be a negotiated settlement. So all this talk about security guarantees and troops and stuff like that, he said it's just a waste of time, man. If we get to a deal, or once we get to a deal, we're not going to be needing any troops in Ukraine, any reassurance forces, as Stammer calls it. So, what was I about to talk about? What was the next topic on the agenda? What's going on the front lines? Real quick, a lot of analysts are sounding the alarm. Pro-Ukrainian military analysts are sounding the alarm about the situation in Pokrovsk and in Kupiansk. Even the Ukraine mapping channels and the Ukraine military analysts are saying that Russia is indeed in the center of Pokrovsk, the city center of Pokrovsk, and that the Russian military is also in the city center of Kupiansk. Two major cities on the front line, which are about to be captured by Russia. This is from AMK Mapping. A media silent Russian advance through Pokrovsk has been occurring for the past 10 days. Russian forces have reached the city center. And AMK Mapping is pro-Ukrainian, right? And so they're saying that for 10 days, the media has been silent. It's ignored Russia's advance in Pokrovsk and Russia's position in the city center of Pokrovsk. Down or up? Let's go up. Let's go up. The mainstream media has been silent about what's going on in Pokrovsk and in Kupiansk and in Seversk and everywhere across the front line. You notice how they don't want to talk about it, right? Telegraph and the Times and the NYT and CNN, they don't talk about the military situation anymore in Ukraine, but we're talking about it. We've been talking about it on the Duran for a while now, and now you have the the pro-Ukrainian analysts and mapping channels talking about it as well. Everything that Yerasimov said from 3-4 days ago is turning out to be true. His update was spot on. Go figure. The commander of the Russian military knows exactly what's happening on the front lines. Go figure. Yeah, no surprise there. So did you guys hear about this this New York Times article talking about this Navy SEAL team that tried to enter North Korea in 2019? This was a commando team and plant a surveillance device designed to intercept the communication of North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un. The intelligence was intended to strengthen U.S. leverage during nuclear negotiations between Kim and Trump. What a wild story this is. So the New York Times is reporting that this team, they tried to enter North Korea. They wanted to bug Kim Jong-un so that Trump, during negotiations, could gain leverage on him. And this is actually a horrific story, to be quite honest. The end of this story is pretty horrific because according to the New York Times, the SEALs, they never were able to even get close to completing their mission as they were trying to land to get to North Korea, to land in North Korea. They saw a boat, which they thought was some sort of military boat or something like that, when it was actually just a fishing boat. And they fired on this vessel, and they killed everyone on this vessel. And these were just, from what I understand, just fishermen, civilians. And then they had to pull out of the entire operation. 1 second. Officials briefed on the mission told the outlet that SEAL Team 6, the unit best known for killing Osama bin Laden in 2011, launched from submarines and used mini submarines to approach the North Korean coast. But in the dark of the night, the team failed to notice several men in a nearby boat. Believing them to be hostile forces, the SEALs opened fire, killing 2 or 3 unarmed fishermen. They then reportedly retrieved the bodies. This is horrific. They retrieved the bodies, punctured the lungs so they would sink, and abandoned the mission before reaching the target site. The mission was never disclosed to Congress, raising concerns about the lack of oversight and may have violated U.S. law, according to the New York Times. It reminds me of what Trump did to the boat the other day. The boat in the Caribbean, the Venezuelan boat that they claim was some Venezuelan boat trafficking drugs, and they blew that boat apart, killing 11 people. Here you have a mission trying to land on the North Korean coast so they can bug Kim Jong-un so Trump can get some leverage in negotiating. I thought Trump was a great negotiator. Why would he need any kind of tools to give him leverage, right? And they ended up killing a bunch of fishermen, Navy SEALs, according to the New York Times. That's what they're reporting. Crazy, horrific story, actually. So the European Union, they are fining Google $3.5 billion because they're saying that Google is distorting the European ad marketplace. And they're going to fine them a whole bunch of billions of dollars. And this has upset U.S. President Trump. He posted on Truth Social that he's not happy. I don't like it. And we'll see what Trump does now. I talked about this about a week ago, BlackRock Mertz, in a speech that he made, he said that Europe, the EU, will not bow down to the United States when it comes to big tech. That's what Merz said, right? He issued the warning, and he promised the United States that we're going to do whatever we want when it comes to big tech. If we want to find big tech, we are going to find U.S. tech firms. Take that, President Trump. And sure enough, what you have is the European Union putting a fine on Google. And Trump, who just finished a dinner with big tech executives, he's not happy. He's not happy at all. We'll see what Trump does in retaliation to this move from the EU. If I had to guess, I would say tariffs, right? And if I had to guess even further, I would say once Trump threatens 10% additional tariffs on the EU or 40% tariffs on the EU is going to back off, and they're going to remove this $3.5 billion fine on Google. Yeah, the vassal may even be correct, right? They may even be correct in issuing this fine against Google. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Google is up to no good, but the vassal is in no position to put these conditions on the United States. It's just not. It's not realistic. So, Mike Johnson, he was speaking to reporters. This is an interesting story. And he was asked about the Epstein case and the Epstein documents. And there has been a release of Epstein documents. About 33,000 Epstein documents have been released. And we also got the release of the video from the prison with the missing 1 minute. That has been, let's go up this way. The 1 minute that has been shown now. So now we know what the 1 minute was about. And it shows that Bondi was lying, because she said that in explaining the 1 minute that was missing in the video, she said that what did she say? She said that the prisons, what they do is they like reset the recording, right? And so that's why you have the 1 minute that's missing. She said it's common across all prisons, the missing 1 minute. And anyway, that's not the case, because we got the video file in its entirety. And so that was also released. But anyway, getting back to Mike Johnson, he was asked about the Epstein case, and he said that Trump is an FBI informant. That is what Johnson said. Trump is an FBI informant, or was an FBI informant during the whole Epstein saga, as the Epstein thing was unfolding way back when. Now, I don't know if Mike Johnson let this slip, right? If this was a mistake and he messed up, or if he is saying this deliberately in order to throw people off. I don't know. That I cannot judge or comment on. Trump also posted about Epstein as well, and he said that it's a Democrat hoax. So he posted on Truth Social that the whole Epstein thing was a Democrat hoax, which if what Mike Johnson said is true, means that Trump was an FBI informant for a Democrat hoax or something like that. Anyway, interesting statement from Mike Johnson. Very interesting statement. So let's do a clown world, and we can wrap this up. And we got a clown world with, which way should I go? Should I go up that way or that way? Let's go this way. We have a clown world with the dynamic duo of Kaya Callis and Annalena 360. That's right, Annalena is back. She is back. And so we'll start with Annalena. she's about to start her new gig at the UN, being president of the UN General Assembly, and she posted an Instagram video of her morning or her day in New York, getting a taxi, I guess, to the UN building so she can begin her tenure as president of the General Assembly of the United Nations. And she's writing down some notes in a notebook. And she's very happy with her sunglasses and her cool outfit and her cool taxi. And she's just enjoying life, man. Annalena, right? Annalena in the city. Yeah, and this was recorded, man. This wasn't like what I'm doing, right? Where I'm holding up the camera. I'm by myself and I'm just holding up the camera as I'm walking around and filming. No, not Annalena Baerbock. Annalena Baerbock, she had a cameraman with her, right? And this was an excellently recorded video, right? This is professionally done, right? It shows her getting into the cab. It shows her sitting down in the taxi. It shows her getting out, and she gives a nice smile as she looks back at the taxi or the camera or whatever, and she's about to enter into her new position. A new chapter in 360's life. Oh man, this was paid for by someone. Someone paid for this, right? And she posted it on Instagram, so there you have it. And finally, here's a video from Kaya Kallas from the same interview where she talked about World War II, which angered the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Really angered the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Anyway, from the same event, we have Kaya Kallas. She said, and I quote, "The Chinese are good at technology, but not good at social sciences. The Russians are not that good at technology, but good at social sciences," right? Right. The Chinese, they're just not good at social sciences. And the Russians, well, they're just not good at technology, according to Stunning and Brave. Yeah, she hasn't heard about the Orezhnik and the hypersonics and the space program, any of that stuff, man. I mean, I could go on and on and on about Russian scientific achievements, right? It's a long list. But for Kaya Kallas, she has no idea. And when it comes to social sciences, well, you know, the Chinese are just not good at that stuff. Oh man, here's the video of Stunning and Brave.
You know, the Chinese are very good at technology, but they are not that good in social sciences. Versus, you know, the Russians, who are not good at technology at all, but super good in social sciences. So what are they doing? All the actors who are trying to make us weaker, they are actually, you know, finding the little fires that are existing in our society and pouring fuel into those, and both sides. So that, you know, suddenly you have, you know, really minor issues, really big fires, and everybody's like, where did that come from? In the age of social media, especially the attention span that people have, it is very easy to ignite people. To be against something, and this is very hard. I don't have, you know, a formula how to address this and get it all right, but I think it requires an effort from all of us.
All right, and that is the video for today, theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble and X and Telegram. And go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like what I'm wearing in this video update. We are here at the Panathinaikos football stadium. I will see everyone tomorrow. Take care.